I'm Chip Townsend, and this is the Team Chip Podcast. Coming up on today's episode, good intentions, New Year's resolutions. Guys, let's get real with this thing. Like 80% of people by mid-February have failed at their New Year's resolutions. Can't every day be New Year's, by the way. Okay, average is unacceptable. Be willing to do what others are not so you can have what others do not have. Welcome back to the Team Chip Podcast. I've got a solo run for you today. No more good intentions. Just get it done. No more good intentions. Happy New Year, guys. It's that time again. It's time to set those, guess what? New Year's resolutions, right? Maybe not. So New Year's resolutions. I almost said revolutions. Resolutions. I don't know, man. New Year's resolutions it's like good intentions. I'm going to lose some weight. I'm going to get into great shape. I'm going to do all these great things. It's like good intentions. But you know, one of my favorite quotes of all times is the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. And another one that really sticks out in my mind whenever I think about that is we tend to judge other people. And this is a little bit related, but not. We tend to judge other people on their actions and results. We tend to judge ourselves on, guess what? Our intentions, on how good we intend to do. And we've got to be really careful because we like to assume we're way better at things than we really are. I'm so guilty of this. I'm like, yeah, I'm really good at that. And then I do it. I'm like, I wasn't very good at that. So anyway, good intentions, New Year's resolutions. Guys, let's get real with this thing. Man, every year we have so many people. As a matter of fact, in our business, in our industry, in the health and fitness industry, people plan their year kind of sometimes not around, but it's heavily impacted by New Year's. Knowing that people are going to come in with this plan to change their lives and better themselves and do all these great things and sign up for something new, martial arts, getting in the gym and getting fit and all of these things. And again, I hate to kind of beat it up, but I think of that as just, again, good intentions. And, you know, a lot of times we intend to get that done. We intend to do this, do that. But again, I want to kind of get real with this and let's talk about what that looks like. So part of the problem here is we set these New Year's resolutions. We don't have a plan. We don't really have a good direction. You know, it's generic stuff like, I just want to lose weight. I want to feel better. I want to make more money this year. I want to change my job. I want to do all these things. You know, statistically, I think Pew, U.S. News, World Report, some different places, I did some research on this. Around 80% of people, and I know this is all kind of cliche stuff, but like 80% of people by mid-February have failed at their New Year's resolutions. Again, we're back to these good intentions. They're like dreams without action. It's like a dream, like, you know, and we all tend to do it. And it's pushed in pop culture and social media and by all the, ads on TV and all these different things push us to think, oh boy, I'm going to make a change for myself, for my family and all these things around New Year's. I just want to challenge you. Why can't every day be New Year's, by the way? You know, just something for you to think about. You know, we need to, if we're going to do it, we need to commit to the action and not just hope. You know, my dad, I'd sometimes ask my dad for something and he would say, why don't you poo-poo in one hand and hope in the other and see which one gets full first, son? Okay, Pops, if that's what I need to do. But the whole point is we're just kind of hoping a lot of times. And again, we don't have a plan. I want to encourage you guys. I know it sounds pretty negative so far, but don't settle for average. Don't be okay with average. You know, in school when we were coming up, a lot of times, you know, the grading scale was 0 to 100. And if you could hit a 70, a C was considered average. And a lot of times that was just okay, right? Don't be happy with average. Be happy with exceptional. Go above and beyond this. A lot of times this is why these New Year's resolutions fail, because we're okay with just enough to get by. And that's just not good enough. You know, if we just ran our lives average, life over time would begin to fall apart. I just don't think that would work. You know, it's like, you know, in the martial arts, I need to get 10 rounds in every day of sparring, but I get to round 8 and I'm tired. So I go, round 7, maybe round 7, average, right? 70%. Good enough for the day. And then I have a competition coming and I get my butt handed to me because I skipped 3 rounds every time because I was feeling like average was good enough. And it wasn't good enough because the other guy was doing all 10 rounds in his training, right? So we've got to really buckle down, take action, do what it takes, make a plan and all these things. But man, I encourage you to look at your own life and look at areas that, what are some areas where maybe you're playing at average? And can you kind of call those things out? Can you pull them to the side and go, you know what, I want to be more exceptional in these areas and begin to make a plan. So be the exception, be exceptional. If you want exceptional results, you have to be willing to do what others are not. One of the things I love is to have what others don't have. You must be willing to do what others are not willing to do. And it's super, super important that we are willing to work hard for that. And when things get hard, we don't give up. We stick to our plan. We stick to our heart and we work hard at it. When I think about this, I was thinking about a time, like when did I have something that was really difficult? In almost 40 years of martial arts, I've come across quite a few difficult times, a few injuries, pushing my body to the boundaries and beyond, etc. And, when did I stick through it? So in 2006, I was in Atlantic City, New Jersey at a really amazing martial arts event up there. I got asked to come up and do a demonstration. And I did a break. I was breaking some bricks and doing some different things on stage, doing some self-defense stuff. And I broke this pile of bricks with a kick. And in the process, somehow, we still don't know how this happened, but one of the bricks some way severed my Achilles tendon. And I have a vivid memory of Mr. Bob Wall. Bob Wall, if you're not familiar with him, was a lot of times Bruce Lee's nemesis in a lot of the Bruce Lee movies. Super sweet guy. One of the kind of early pioneers of martial arts in the U.S., but he's at the side of the stage. I'm on stage. There's a crowd around the stage. And anyway, I hit these bricks and I go to set my foot down and I feel like someone stuck a knife in my calf. And I'm like, man, something is wrong. And I can't balance on my left foot because that was the foot I did the break with. And I'm looking over and my wife she is on stage with me demonstrating as well. And I'm like, hey, just keep going with your next break and your next thing. Give me a second. I thought I had something hit me in the calf and frogged me, right? So I'm like, I just need a second. Anyway, she looks down and her eyes get really big and she's looking at the floor and looking at my eyes, looking at the floor. Anyway, long story short, I look down and there's this like huge puddle of blood growing underneath me. And Mr. Bob Wall is at the side and he's like, hey, Chip, you have to sit down, man. You got to sit down. You're bleeding really bad. Anyway, I'd severed my Achilles tendon. They carry me over to the side and the consensus from everybody is, well, that's a career ender for you. You don't come back from a severed Achilles tendon. That's bad news. But we weren't 100% sure that's what it was, but it was kind of obvious that that's what it was because I couldn't control the flex of my foot and some stuff. And so anyway, I reach out to my orthopedic surgeon. He says, hey, get him to clean it up, come back home. I can take care of it if that's what it is. Long story short, he repaired my Achilles and I had some decisions to make. Like I was afraid I could never compete again. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do martial arts. And all these people, these very influential people are whispering in my ear, man, your career's over. You're done. You're going to have to do something different. You won't be able to teach. You won't be able to kick. You won't be able to anyway. So a little bit of prayer time, some heavy thought, like, what am I going to do with this? And interestingly, this happened in January around that New Year's resolution time, right? Like, oh man, my plans, they're out the window. So I spent a little bit of time. Our school is growing. We're in the early days of the school, really hustling, trying to make it work. And for me, I prayed about it and I just started having these thoughts like, Chip, you've really been focused on your physicality, like grinding physically to improve your martial arts and compete at a high level and do all these different things. And you've kind of been neglecting your brain. Yep, that's what I thought. I thought, man, you've been neglecting your brain. You haven't been staying balanced, physically, spiritually, mentally. And so it's been a lot of physical and not a whole lot of mental. And so I reached out to my local university where I had started college and I said, hey, what would I have to do to finish my degree in business? And it ended up being about a semester and a half classes about 2 semesters of classes that I would need to finish. And I thought, everybody's telling me I'm going to have a 1-year recovery. So I signed up for classes, and I would crutch myself to school and go to my classes, and I would crutch myself back to my car, come back to the school, our martial arts school, and sit at the sidelines and kind of pour into our instructors and our team and get them to teach while I sat at the side and watched. And I learned a ton. I learned a ton about myself, about grit, about our business, about coaching and leading our team. What an amazing, and I could have just quit it all. We could have shut the doors. I could have gone a different direction. My wife could have gone back to nursing, but we didn't. So anyway, the point of the story is, we've got to be willing to buckle down and do what others are not willing to do, to have what others are not willing to have. And believe it or not, fun ending to the story, I went back a year later and re-won the World Ultimate Breaking Championship, got back to competing, and everything was fine. The Achilles healed up really well. But guys, not to get sidetracked, but we have to be willing to grit through the hard times and look for the golden nuggets. I know I beat this up sometimes in our podcast, but what are the opportunities? In every door closed, there's another door that opens. There, in every hard situation, there's an opportunity. After every class I teach, almost, I ask the guys around the room, the students, like, hey, somebody give me a nugget. What's a golden nugget? And the point of the golden nugget is if you were just having to dig through some poo-poo, there's a nugget in there somewhere. Did you find it? And what did you learn? And how did you grow out of that? So anyway, sometimes we just have to buckle down and not give up. Another thing that we have to do is take action. Sometimes we have these intentions, resolutions, but we fail to take action on them. Action leads motivation. Sometimes they laugh around our business because I'm like, hey guys, we're going to roll this thing out over here. We're going to do something over here. We have a project we're working on and we'll just start running with it. And people will go, yep, we're building this plane while it flies. I'm like, yes, we are. Instead of aim, and never pull the trigger. Sometimes we pull the trigger and then we aim after the fact. So taking action is really, really important. I'm giving you an example of this. How many times have you not wanted to go to the gym? For me, it's almost every day. How many times have you not wanted to work out? All the time, right? How many times have you gone and worked out and then walked out and thought to yourself, man, I'm so glad I did that? Almost 100% of the time. Almost. And for me, I would say it probably is 100% of the time. That's an example of action leading motivation. So don't just set these resolutions, have good intentions, take action on those things. In martial arts, if I just show up on the days I feel good, I'm not going to get anywhere. I'm not going to make any progress. I have to also show up on the days I don't feel good. As a matter of fact, we make that happen in sparring, right? I pair my students in a way where one's better than the other, and I know it to challenge the one who's not quite as good. If this guy that's better is so good, maybe we do 2-on-1 against him to put pressure on him and put him in a place where he can learn to create discomfort. In rolling in jiu-jitsu, today in the back of my mind, I'm only going to start on my back every time and have to work my way up to a better place. So we find ways to challenge ourselves in the martial arts. And it's hard to get your head around that, but we really only grow when things are challenging and when things are hard. So it is okay for your resolutions to be a stretch and to push you, but you need to make sure that, you do take action and that you do have a plan. So one of the things that I really, I like to think about around planning your resolutions is, let's think goals instead of resolutions. And I like the framework of the SMART goal: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So specific, let's think about this. If you're a lot of times resolutions fail. I want to lose weight. How much weight do you want to lose? How are you going to measure that? What does that look like for you? What kind of timeline are you going to have for that? Do you give yourself something? And I think a lot of times we don't. We have the great intention of doing it, but we don't have any details. So being specific: what, why, where, when, how, figure those things out. I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 6 months. Be reasonable about it. But I want to lose 5 pounds in the next, 8 weeks. Be specific. Measurable. This one's a simple one. Weight. You can get on the scale every week and check yourself. You can do physical measurement. As a matter of fact, I encourage people a lot of times depend more on the measurements than on the scale, because when we're losing weight, a lot of times muscle, one cell of muscle, just to simplify it, is about twice the weight of a cell of body fat, but it's less physical space. It's smaller physically. And so it can be really confusing. Man, my pants are fitting better, but I'm not losing any weight. Well, that's because you're remodeling your body, right? But the point is measure it, weigh, get the tape measure out, waist, thighs, chest, arms, get some measurements and have a baseline, and then go back and recheck the measurements. You know how amazingly inspirational it is when you go, oh man, it's been, 3 weeks and an inch is gone. Whoa. Or when someone walks by and they look at you and they go, you're looking kind of nice. And inside you're like, that's right, because I'm doing the hard thing. I'm taking action on these intentions. I'm setting goals. So specific, measurable. Make sure it's something that's achievable. You're not going to say, I want to lose, 59 pounds in the next 3 weeks. That's just not going to work. That is not achievable. It's not, in the next one, realistic. Okay. So make sure it's something that you can achieve and it's something that's realistic. And again, let's put a time limit on it. By this date, I want to have this done. And, replace this intention with an actual plan. I encourage you to write the plan out. Sit down, think through it. Jesus tells us, I keep beating this up, to count the cost. Write the plan out. What's it going to cost me in time? I'm going to have to get up a little extra early in the morning before I go to work to go get this workout done. Am I going to have to stay a little bit after work? How am I going to figure all this out? But make a plan and make sure that, again, it's achievable. That's part of that achievable in that SMART framework, goal setting framework. And, be able to explain it to someone easily, your plan. Someone says, hey, what are you doing? Hey, I'm doing this. I'm going to lose this much weight in this amount of time. And I'm going to the gym, X amount of days to make that happen. I'm getting my exercise in. Make sure that it's doable. And something else that I hugely encourage, have an accountability partner. Have someone that you trust. It's your spouse. It's, maybe it's a close friend, someone that you're already training with a little bit. Hey, I have a new goal. I'm going to try to do X by here. And I just said the word try. I don't even like the word try. I'm going to do, lose 5 pounds in the next, 5 weeks, whatever that is. And then give them permission to kind of poke you about it and ask, hey, how's that coming with you? A lot of times when people come to me and they say something like, hey, I have a goal, I'm going to do X, I'll ask them, well, when is that going to be done by? Do you have a plan to get it done? And I ask them some of these questions. How are you going to measure that? How are you going to review and reflect on that? By the way, is it okay if I ask you about that every now and then and maybe give you a little bit of a hard time about it to make sure you're getting it done? And most people will say, oh, absolutely. And so make sure if you're setting these goals, these SMART goals, that you're giving someone around you permission to check in on you, to hold you accountable, to kind of keep your feet to the fire. Because remember, according to kind of pop research, they say about 80% of people by mid-February are already off of those New Year resolutions. So let's find a way that we can keep ourselves focused and remember that, talking about it and hoping for it's not going to make it happen. We got to take action on these things. So with that said, New Year's resolutions, have a plan, not an intention, but have a plan, have a goal, put it in place. And I'm going to say this again. Why do we wait till New Year's? The best time to plant a tree 25 years ago, the second best is today, right now. So I know it's, New Year's now, but I would encourage you, if you have a goal or you want to make a change and it's, July, take action now. Don't wait till January. Don't wait till the new year to set that resolution, because it's the popular thing to do. Get on it now. Be the person who gets it done. In the Team CHIP acronym, the person who gets it done becomes the inspiration. Teachable, excellent, accountable, motivated, courteous, honest, the inspiration. They're getting it done, and people look to that person. So a little bit of a recap for you. No more good intentions. No more resolutions. Let's have goals and plans. Let's get to work on those things. Average is unacceptable. Okay, average is unacceptable. Be willing to do what others are not so you can have what others do not have. It sounds so selfish, but let me just say right here, that's not particularly selfish when you manage what you have well, right? The dollar is not evil. What we choose to do with the dollar either makes it good or evil. It's our choice, right? And what we do with it. And so if you're doing what others are not willing to do to have what they won't have, then just think about the resources that you can create to do great things, to change people's lives and to pour into others and to serve. Be the exception. Do what others won't, man. Be the exception. So New Year's challenge, don't make it a year of resolutions. Make it a year of plans and goals. Go out there and get it done. Hopefully you found some nuggets in this. I know it's kind of the same things over and over, it seems like, but we need that reinforcement and we need to rehear it. You can do it. That's the other thing. I think sometimes we think, I just can't. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough time, or I'm already too far out of shape. I am astounded. I'm 52 and I'm astounded at how often people that are in their late 20s, mid 30s are like, oh, I could never do that. I'm just too old for that. And in my head, I'm like, no, stop thinking that way. Stop thinking with that fixed, limited mindset. Let's get a growth mindset and let's go after it and do it. So I'm telling you, you can do it. Get the right people around you, get the right plan, get the right action and discipline going, and you can do anything that you put your mind to if you're willing to put in the work and you're putting the time. So with that said, no more resolutions. Let's make plans and let's make goals and let's make the next year the best year of your entire life. Happy New Year to you. We love you guys. We're thankful for you. We hope you're enjoying this podcast and getting some great nuggets from it. Like it, share it, love it, put it out there and message us. Let us know what you'd like to hear about. We're thankful for you. Go out there and be the exception and get it done. Never be outworked. Thank you for tuning into the Team Chip Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget, subscribe, share, and or leave a review because we need you. We appreciate you so much. And without you, we can't make this happen. Remember, consistency is the key to success. So go out there and never be outworked.